Hi everyone, welcome back to my garden. I'm in my side yard garden and today I want to dedicate this entire video to good bone structure, meaning the trees, the shrubs, the conifers that make your garden a multi-season, multi-interest garden. So it's not just a wham bam thank you ma'am type of landscape. It's the kind of garden that you can look out a window in the dead of winter. I'm in zone 6A here, so it gets really cold. You can look out your window and see something alive. Good bone structure also provides cover for the birds that are in your landscape in the wintertime, but just gives you lots of layers, and it also makes gardening a lot easier. And I appreciate the trees and shrubs. I've been adding a lot more to the garden as I've gotten older because they're a lot less work and just super easy to take care of. So Iseli Nursery reached out to me last year and said, hey, we'd love for you to pick several specimens from our lineup. And you guys, if you're not familiar with Iseli, they're in Oregon. If you're not familiar with Iseli, check them out. All the links that to the things that I talk about in this video today will be in the description below. But they're unmatched in the quality of what they grow. And I'm going to show you all 8 things I picked out. And we're going to start with Monty. This is Monty Blue Spruce. So I love Monty. I've wanted to put Monty in the garden for such a long time. It's a good small space spruce, about 8 feet tall, 6 feet wide at maturity, full sun. But look at that color. It's part of their Iseli Blues collection. And I was always hesitant to plant a blue spruce in a Midwest garden. Spruces are native to Colorado, very different growing conditions. No humidity. They like free draining soil, loose soil. I have none of those things. We have hot, humid summers. We've got dense clay. But I took a chance and I planted Monty anyway, and I planted him high, as I did with all of the conifers. And planting him high simply means that the top of the root ball I put above the soil level, and then I mounded the soil up to it so that it'll create a little bit better drainage. So we'll see how it does. And just keeping him watered as I do anything that's new that goes in the garden. So this is Monty, and I'm looking forward to him filling in this whole area. As he grows, I will edit out some of the stuff. I've just kind of packed a lot of things in here as I usually do until things fill in. So this is Monty Blue Spruce. This next one is a bit of an experiment. This is Kohl's prostrate. Kohl's prostrate. Canadian hemlock. And I don't have any hemlocks in my garden. Hemlocks like acidic soil, they like moisture, they like good drainage. I have none of those things. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to have to, oh man, the beauty of living in a neighborhood. Dogs. Anyway, as I was saying, I'll have to amend, do some soil acidifier every year, stay on top of keeping the soil damp. I've got it underneath the tree. Got a yellow jacket here. I've got it underneath the tree so it gets morning sun, afternoon shade. So I think I've nailed the light. But it's got a really gnarly, interesting growth habit. I planted it high like I did the spruce to help with drainage, and just stay on top of watering. And the cool thing about it is you can, as this grows, very slow grower by the way, but as it grows you can kind of prop up branches and train it how you want it to grow. So slow grower though, so that's a long ways away. So that is Kohl's prostrate Canadian hemlock. This next one is a Korean fir called Icebreaker, and it's got such a cool needle shape, and I love the blue color on it. It gets to be about 3 feet tall and 3 feet wide. Another slow grower. Can take full sun, but I've got it in kind of, it's sun off and on during the day. So we'll see how it does here. It gets a lot of direct sun later in the afternoon. So we'll see what happens, but I'll read you the description on the tag, because I think it does better than I could do. So Icebreaker became an overnight sensation after its discovery and is sought for its stunning contribution to the garden. Two-toned needles recurve up and around their stems to expose a bright white, waxy underside of the green needle. Slow growing with a rounded form when young, it may eventually mature into a broadly pyramidal small tree. Will thrive in full sun and well-drained soil. So it says here sun to part shade. I would say this is probably a part shade situation. But this is Icebreaker Korean fir. The next one I have is a Japanese plum yew called Hedgehog. It's not a yew at all. It's a Cephalotaxus harringtonii hedgehog. Gets about 3 feet tall, 4 feet wide at maturity, and I love it because it's just so interesting. The needles on it are much longer than what you would find on a yew, and I think it's a beautiful underused plant. And I have it here in the back corner so it gets dappled light. It says on the tag it can take some full sun to part shade. I feel like if I put it in full sun, it's just going to toast it. The needles can be kind of delicate. So I've got it in a dappled sun location in the backyard. So I'm just going to read the tag to you. They consider the growth habit is a spreading growth habit, And the glossy dark green needles of this low-growing, spreading Japanese plum yew are long and lush. Naturally dense, it serves well as a foundation planting, or it can easily be sheared for an alternative to boxwood. Its preference to part shade makes it an excellent candidate for the north and east side of buildings. Here's a big one. If you have deer, listen up. Deer resistance is of added benefit in areas with abundant wildlife. So I don't have deer back here, but I do have rabbits. Nothing's touched it yet. So I probably will provide a screen for this to protect it from the wind for the winter time. So I'll get some burlap or something and make some sort of protection for it. But I'm really excited to have a plum yew in my garden. Next up is mint truffle Bosnian pine. I love the name of this pine tree. I don't have any pines in my garden yet, so mint truffle was the one, and I chose it because not only is it an evergreen for the winter for multi-season interest, but I loved the purple cones it forms in the springtime. They're purple. They're like a plum color. They're beautiful. So it has that attribute as well. So then I also have like a Christmas tree in my backyard. It's going to be about 12 feet tall, about 8 feet wide at maturity. And I'll just read to you the description on the tag. Shaped like a broad teardrop, this compact, well-proportioned Bosnian pine offers gardeners a tasty, slow-growing option for year-round beauty in the small garden. Dense, finely textured green needles cover every shoot of the gently incurved branches, creating great beauty. The unique plant also claims exceptionally good health, disease, and pest resistance, hardiness, and salt tolerance. I think that's a win-win. So salt tolerance, maybe you put it near a road if you need, maybe you need a screen, maybe you need a smaller screen. For me, I just wanted an evergreen back here. It's like going to be like a Christmas tree for me. Maybe I'll even put lights on it like I did on the arborvitae in the front yard. But I'm excited to have it here. I'm really loving those purple cones. It makes it so interesting, and the fact that it can thrive in a smaller space. So now I've got a small space pine option for my garden. So now I'm just beyond the mint truffle, and this was the space where one of the pussy willow trees was that was taken out. I had two removed last fall. So mint truffle went toward the front of the border where it gets a lot more sun, and then nestled in the back close to the fence is my latest maple introduction. So years ago, Iseli sent me a little stick, and I've talked about it on Instagram, on my blog, on YouTube. The part of the Jack Frost collection called North Wind. So what that tree, that one little 1 foot tree, has turned into in about 8 or 9 years, it's a spectacular tree. So I picked another from that collection called Arctic Jade and put it back along the fence because my goal is to kind of block this view. So that's another thing that trees and shrubs are good for, especially when you live in a suburban location. You can use them to block views because you don't want everybody looking in your garden, and maybe you want to be in your backyard in your PJs. You want to block those views. So I'm using Arctic Jade as a screen, but also because of the colors that it changes. So my Northwind maple, it's interesting all year long, from spring through summer, through fall. So I'm expecting the same situation with Arctic Jade. So this one the growth habit is broad upright, about 20 feet tall and about 15 feet wide. So it should fill this canopy in here and create a nice screen for me, and also be just beautiful in the fall color. So Arctic Jade is a member of Iseli's Jack Frost collection. Northwind is the sibling to this. And it's a developing line bred and introduced by Iseli Nursery that combines the durability and hardiness of the Korean maple and the beauty of the Japanese maple. It has large green, deeply cut leaves and an excellent branching habit. The leaves' last act in autumn is an impressive canvas for the dazzling fusion of orange and red tones, an excellent substitute for the Japanese maple in harsh climate conditions. So, and I can attest to that because my Northwind has just done a phenomenal job. My Northwind has done a phenomenal job in the corner up in the front of the backyard border. So I'm really excited to watch the Arctic Jade develop, and I really love the red stems on the leaves. It's interesting right now too. Just the cut leaf, it's so pretty. So that is my Arctic Jade maple. The biggest challenge for growing the plum yew, the pine, and the maple in this location is the fact that they have an established river birch growing in the corner very close by. So staying on top of the watering has been crucial. It's incredible how quickly these guys dry out. That is probably the greatest challenge for these guys. And speaking of getting them established, the rule of thumb is planting 6 to 8 weeks, conifers especially, 6 to 8 weeks before your ground freezes. I would say, in my opinion, planting them as soon as you possibly can, um, like is spring, even summer, getting them in the ground so those roots can get established. Because here we don't have, reliable snow cover, so we don't have any moisture in the ground in the wintertime. So these can dry out really fast. So getting them established as quickly as possible, I think is crucial to having these guys survive winter. So I planted them about a month and a half ago, and staying on top of watering, planting all of them high, especially back here. I went high with all of them because they have, that surface will be less, there will be less competition for a little while with the river birch roots, but once those roots find that extra moisture, they're going to find their way to it. So I would plant sooner than later if you want to add any conifers to your garden. All right, let's move on to the last two. Next up is a mugo pine called Pesto, and it is so cute. Loves full sun, gets about a foot tall, about 3 feet wide. It's got this uniform growth habit, so it looks like this perfect little green pillow. So I'll read to you the tag. It says, it's an exciting addition to the true dwarf line of mugo pine with its unique, spreadable, ground-hugging habit. Vibrant green needles provide a strong contrast to the attractive brownish purple buds. Maintains its form with minimal or no pruning, providing the gardener a low maintenance choice. Extremely adaptable and hardy, Pesto's consistency, reliability, and attractiveness make it an excellent element in most any landscape. And I would wholeheartedly agree. I think this is going to be so cute, and it'll fill this whole area in. I've got some apricot drift roses to the side, and then there's some caradonna salvia that will be behind it. I just think it's a nice addition to the front sunny border. And last but certainly not least is this beauty here. This is a Colorado spruce called Moonstone, and the color is something else. It's spectacular. It gets to be about 2 feet tall, 3 feet wide. Loves full sun. I've planted it in my entry garden because I want it to be a focal point. It'll fill this whole bed in. For right now, I've got it surrounded with some salvia, but it's a lovely plant and keeps that nice kind of a bun globe shape. It says, this gem of a Colorado spruce pairs stunning bright blue color with a well-mannered compact form. Moonstone maintains a tidy bun shape as it matures, making it easy to add a frosty jolt of ice blue color to any garden. Extremely cold hardy and durable, this beauty thrives in tough sites with challenging conditions, prefers well-draining soil and full sun. And that is Moonstone. Isn't that beautiful? And those are the latest good bones I've added to the garden, courtesy of Iseli Nursery. So many thanks to Iseli for sending such beautiful specimens. It was just so exciting to get just good sized trees and shrubs to add to the garden. They're gorgeous. So all the links to everything are below. And when you're starting a garden, it's super important to start with that structure, with the good bones, because it's what pulls your garden through the entire growing season, through the entire year. It gives the birds a place to hide out in the wintertime, something nice to look out into in the wintertime. I know I appreciate that with the cold winters we have. And as I'm getting older too, I'm really appreciating structure. Perennials are great, but I want my garden to age with me and not require more from me as I'm getting older. And the way to do that is with good bones, with trees, shrubs, and conifers. All right, guys, so that's my good bones video. I hope you enjoyed the tour. Please throw up a thumbs up, subscribe. I'd love to have you along, and hit that little bell so you never miss a post. And I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.